Anyway, it don't really matter because while I don't think Matt Gaetz's political career is over, Kamala Harris is certainly over. If the Democratic Party elevates Kamala Harris to another thing, to another position, I'm so done. It's just, oh God, they're going to do it. They're going to try to like make her run for California governor or maybe make her run again. They're going to make Kamala Harris run again. Matt Gaetz, weirdly enough, has withdrawn from the race, or not even the race, but the appointment that Donald Trump gave him as Attorney General.
Withdrawn his nomination for Attorney General. But Dana, this comes about 45 minutes after we reached out to him about some new reporting that we have. And this new reporting is that there was a second sexual encounter between him and an underage woman at a party in 2017. Now, I have covered the investigation into allegations that the congressman may have had sex with a minor for 4 years now. And Dana, this was the first time that we had learned that the underage woman had testified to a second sexual encounter. And I learned from my sources, along with our colleague Sarah Ferris, that she had testified to this to the House Ethics Committee. Now, I want to read our story. Again, this announcement that he is withdrawing comes as a bit of a surprise. We reached out to him 45 minutes ago to give him a chance to weigh in on this story. And again, his withdrawal comes just a short time after CNN reached out about our reporting that there was a second.
Underage woman is such, I feel like underage woman is like, I don't know, am I the one friend who's too woke? When I get like annoyed when people say that, just say minor, you know? I feel like it's kind of a weird way to phrase that. It's like, why are you saying underage woman? Just say minor. Like you could say child, but if you're going to maintain like journalistic standards, then you should at least say minor.
Sexual encounter that the alleged underage victim testified to.
Because teenager can imply 18 or 19, which was the first teenager that he paid to have sex with. Her age was, I believe, 18 or 19. But the second one that the first girl actually came out and alleged to was 17.
To the House Ethics Committee. Now, let me read you our reporting, Dana. The alleged underage victim has testified that both of these sexual encounters, the one that we always knew about and this new one, occurred at the same party in Florida in 2017. And Dan, I am told that she gave consistent testimony in both the ethics investigation and a civil lawsuit in Florida. Now, I want to note that the Justice Department investigated these allegations that Gaetz had sex with a minor and did not charge him. He has always denied wrongdoing, and we reached out to him 45 minutes ago to get a reaction to this. He did not offer us a statement. Instead, we're seeing that he is now withdrawing. Now, I want to note that what's notable about this testimony is that the underage woman testified that the second sexual encounter also involved another adult woman. Now, the adult woman has denied that there was a threesome. Gaetz has always denied that he had sex with a minor. But of course, this new reporting was coming as President-elect Trump was trying to shore up support on Capitol Hill to get Gaetz confirmed. I think this is also important, this new reporting, because it reminds people that there are things about this investigation that are still not public. But again, we reached out 45 minutes ago to Gaetz's team to tell them that we were going to go public with this story. We told them it would go public around 12:30, and before he got a statement, he announced that he is withdrawing from his Attorney General nomination.
Wow. Wow, we were waiting for that reporting, Paula. We were on pins and needles here, quietly,
I had it all typed up, yeah.
Quietly in the studio, waiting for you to come with that reporting, and this is certainly.
Will be really funny when Trump pardons him just in case. I don't think you can do a preemptive pardon.
Huge, huge news that Matt Gaetz, we had just been talking.
So they're saying there is a 17-year-old girl, 17-year-old woman who.
This is such an insane. Like, obviously this is edited and not just like his face. I mean, he did say that though. He did say he actually tried to imply that Tucker Carlson was somehow also there while the crime was taking place. And it's such a funny interview that lives in my mind because Tucker Carlson, you can see it in his eyes. Tucker Carlson's like, oh, don't say that I had anything to do with this. So is that the end of Matt Gaetz's political career? No, absolutely not. Dude, are you kidding me? The is a benefit. What are you talking about? Gaetz says you met her at a dinner and Tucker stops and says, I have no recollection of that. What's going on? Special election for no reason, lol. Yup. Oh, this was also funny. I saw this. For all my Republican colleagues in the House and Senate, if we are going to release ethics reports and rip apart our own that Trump has appointed, then put it all out there for the American people to see. Okay? All the ethics reports and claims, including the one I filed. All your sexual harassment and assault claims that were secretly settled. Paying off victims with taxpayer money. The entire Jeffrey Epstein files, tapes, recordings, witness interviews. But not just those. There is more. Epstein wasn't/isn't the only asset. If we're going to dance, let's all dance in the sunlight. I'll make sure we do. So this is the only time where I have ever found myself agreeing 100% with Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is shocking, I know. But in the interest of bipartisanship, and civility, I must say, I agree with this fucking Titan. Having said that, however, the implication here is also damning for Marjorie Titan Greene. Why is it damning for her? Because she's now admitting that, like, she knows of a litany of misconduct cases that her colleagues have engaged with. It's like, bitch, release it then. What do you mean? Bipartisanship, you're a Republican? Yes. I don't understand why she just so voluntarily revealed that, like, there's actually a lot more rapists in Congress than you would think. This is the type of shit that I don't understand. It's like, if you have this kind of information and you threaten to reveal it, but you don't actually reveal it, then I guess you just don't care. Like, what? What does this mean? It makes no sense. QAnon representative covering for pedophiles for political gain. Who could have imagined? Yeah. Saying this, by the way, in the interest of defending one other pedophile is also nasty work. Speaking of nasty work, the Democrats are still running around doing Democrat shit. Kamala Harris tells Netanyahu that the U.S. opposes the ICC probe of Israel. This is early. U.S. Vice President and Israeli leaders say court in The Hague has no jurisdiction over the issue as prosecutor pledges impartial probe. This is from 2021, chat. This is back when Bensouda was trying to prosecute Israel, and then Donald Trump issued, or not even Donald Trump, sorry. Donald Trump had issued sanctions on her, and she was slated to be replaced. Yeah, which is crazy. Anyway, it don't really matter, because while I don't think Matt Gaetz's political career is over, Kamala Harris is certainly over. If the Democratic Party elevates Kamala Harris to another thing, to another position, I'm so done. It's just, oh God, they're going to do it. They're going to try to, like, make her run for California governor or some shit, or maybe make her run again. They're going to make Kamala Harris run again. They want her to be the next California governor. Oh my God. Oh my God. Morning Joe ratings continue to plummet. The ratings for Morning Joe were weaker on Wednesday than on Tuesday. In the 6 a.m. hour Wednesday, the show averaged 620. Oh my God. 620,000 viewers with 46,000 in the 25 to 54 demo. To be fair, MSNBC ratings have been generally weak since Trump won, but this is a notable AM drop off. 46,000? That's crazy. Right now, there's 37,000 people within the actual prime demo, which is 18 to 35. 25 to 54 is the new metric. Back when I was working in the ad world, in the ad space, the actual target demo was 18 to 35, and it still is. But because cable news has gotten so fucking old that they literally changed the metrics, and even then they're losing on those metrics. The 25 to 54 demo, and they're still getting cooked. Okay. Now, one thing for you to understand, like, that's Nielsen, right? These are Nielsen television metrics, television ratings. This doesn't mean that there are 46,000 concurrent viewers in the 25 to 54 demo. This means over the hour that it's tracked, there were around 4,000 to 5,000 in that demo. So right now I have 37,700 people watching, live concurrent viewers. That means that I have around 300 to 400,000 or 300 to 250,000 people over the course of an hour. That is how that would translate to television ratings. It's like a 5 to 10x. Ratings for MSNBC's Morning Joe have declined noticeably for 2 consecutive days after his host detailed a visit to Trump. Wednesday's overall audience fell by 15%. Its viewership among people between 25 to 54 tumbled nearly 41%. Oh my God, they're so cooked. They're so fucking cooked. Could be 20x if you moved your camera back to show Kaya. Okay, shut up. What? Some of y'all need to touch grass. If you're so locked in the H3 internet drama, I agree. Oh my God. These guys are just like the Democratic Party. They just keep pivoting to the right, hoping that the audience comes back, but no one comes back. And they just only look at that and go, we should pivot to the right further. I find that really odd, especially when it's like television ratings are not like the Democratic Party. Okay. I understand why the Democratic Party operates that way, because they're beholden to their corporate masters. But why the fuck would you do that if you're a TV show and your job is to get more viewers? I know the media is beholden to their corporate masters as well, but the expectation here isn't for them to pivot and fucking start talking about Maoism, dog. The expectation is that they like actually, you know, mount a reasonable defense against Donald Trump or continue being a part of the resistance liberalism. And it's quite interesting that they have not done that, and they're not doing that. And it's something that I called out pretty early on. If you remember, I said, I don't think we're going to see a resurgence of 2016 era liberal resistance. Okay. I think that both the Democratic Party, I'm still holding out hope that there's some restructuring in the Democratic Party, but more importantly than the Democratic Party, I think all of the liberal hashtag resistors are going to heal. They're going to literally show their bellies, and they are. Wow, Brianna, I'm surprised a spineless worm like you could even feel being crushed under the boots of those you supported. Brianna Wu, I've probably gotten 400 to 500 messages from Trump voters telling me not to worry about my rights being rolled back, that they don't care what adults like me do, and it's children they care about. But here we are, and Nancy Mace is trying to force people like me to use the men's room, and Trump isn't even in office. I transitioned over 20 years ago. I have a vagina. All my documents say female. I've been married to a man for 16 years. No one bats an eye when I use the bathroom. Please, MAGA, just let people like me medically transition and live our lives. She's so fucking stupid. Like, actually the dumbest person on the fucking planet. It's kind of crazy how stupid she is. Brianna Wu is trans? Yeah, I think she like openly revealed that she's trans recently. Yeah. I think a lot of the trans members of this community knew. And if you recall, I personally said, I don't know and I don't care. Back when people used to ask me, her Reddit account is just doing the, yeah, no, she is a, she's a person who directly got her mind melted by Destiny. So if you're wondering why she's like become even more stupid since October 7th, it's because she just like channels everything that he says. Anyway, I swear she's been out and about trans since the Gamergate days. No, back then she would, I think back then she said stuff like, what difference does it make if I'm trans or not? But I don't really care. Like, her being trans doesn't change the dynamic of her being stupid, okay? She's incredibly stupid. Make no mistake. I will defend trans rights, including Brianna Wu's trans rights, but I will never defend Brianna Wu, if that makes sense. Hasan is a joke, lol. I know. Gaetz is going to be so lit. Why does Hasan support extremist terrorisms? Hasan is a joke, lol. Why are there so many people who come in here and channel what like Ethan, Destiny, and fucking Dan are saying, but then they also openly admit that they're Republican? Why are there so many Republicans in these fucking fandoms? I thought these guys were all liberals, dude. What happened? Gaetz is going to be so lit is so funny. Yeah, dude. Yeah, hopefully Gaetz will be lit on the special election that he has to go back to now, because he voluntarily removed himself from his position in Congress so that he could become the Attorney General, only to voluntarily remove himself from that position when everybody was like, no, dude, you can't do that. You're a fucking pedophile. It's so funny. This guy is like, yeah, Gaetz is going to be Attorney General. It's like, no, you need to be caught up. The reason why we're talking about Gaetz to begin with, if you saw the title, is because he withdrew. He fucking withdrew, and he's already been replaced. Donald Trump replaced him already, you fucking idiot. Pam Bondi is the new Attorney General. Pam was a prosecutor for nearly 20 years, where she was very tough on violent criminals and made the streets of safe for Florida families. Let's see what kind of sexual harassment and assaults that she's engaged in, you know?
Election. But Pam Bondi seems to be someone that he's plucked from Florida. We know he is a Florida man, but he's plucked because he's familiar with her and fully expects her to go from his super PAC now into the DOJ to do his bidding, which we know includes cleaning house over at DOJ for anyone who's been critical of him.
Stay with me, Juanita. I want to bring back Jason Johnson. You may remember him from such news events as covering the DOJ 10 minutes ago. Welcome back, Jason.
Thanks, Ari.
It's a big news night. I'm gonna let you get in here, but I'll tell viewers, because I always try to keep it as real and frank as possible. This is how this works. We did book these two guests for a different Attorney General nominee story, but I don't think either of you knew that this was breaking. The timestamp on Donald Trump's statement tonight is 6:28 p.m. Eastern, naming Pam Bondi. I want to add a couple more details on that because it's a breaking story, and then Jason bring you in here. There is a distinction that everyone should understand about this Attorney General nominee versus Matt Gaetz. Many people, experts, nonpartisan officials, as well as Republicans, noted that Gaetz had essentially no experience as a prosecutor or in the kind of legal managerial work that anyone would do at any leadership level at DOJ, let alone the top post of Attorney General of the United States. The contrast to Ms. Bondi is she does have that kind of experience, much more traditional in what you would see in a top DOJ post, because she was the top law enforcement official in the state of Florida, and she has over 15 years experience in that role and other roles as a prosecutor. If you remember Kamala Harris running for president and talking about being a prosecutor at the state level, this is that kind of job. And so in that experience, it is much more of a traditional role, something that the Senate Judiciary Committee and others who vet these kind of nominees would see as a positive, as experience. The flip side, which our guest Juanita just mentioned, is unlike traditional attorneys general, this is an individual who's very tied politically to Donald Trump, the loyalty that he has talked about. And while there is nothing disqualifying about working on an impeachment defense, it positions her not as someone who is a nonpartisan state-level prosecutor ready to rise up to the DOJ, but someone who's already been in those really searing partisan battles over Donald Trump's conduct in history. And you want generally an attorney general who is not overly tied to past partisan positions, even when they intersect, for example, with politics and law in Washington. So that's one update I wanted to give and bring you back in, Jason. I say that with all accuracy and fairness. On paper, her state-level experience is much closer to what presidents in both parties have sought at the DOJ. That's a huge difference with Matt Gaetz. The political part, though, is different. Right. And then what I bring to you is, and Juanita mentioned it, you have that political history, and you have a proposed number two, a deputy attorney general who recently handled Donald Trump's criminal defense. So if this were the team, and they have to go through vetting and confirmation, but if this were the team, this would be two of the most politically defensive lawyers of the personal capacity of an incoming president we've ever seen running DOJ at the same time.
All right, I completely agree. And quite frankly, my thought is that after Gaetz dropped out, it would be essentially somebody from Trump's legal team. It would be like a Jay Sekulow or somebody like that. I assume that's where he would get these people from. Unlike William Barr, even going back to when we were all kids and like Janet Reno, right? Occasionally attorney generals try to behave like they are not the personal lawyer of the president of the United States. That is completely out the window.
Okay, I'm looking. Okay. I don't care about this stuff. I'm just excited to see what kind of scandals come with Pam Bondi. Florida Attorney General sought donation before nixing Trump University fraud case. Ooh. Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi is denying that a $25,000 donation from Donald Trump is in any way connected to her office's decision not to pursue action against Trump University, despite dozens of complaints in Florida. Ooh. By the way, this chat and this community is literally better than mainstream media for this reason, okay? Because we have 37,700 little freaks in here right now, we find and scour the interweb faster than, producers at CNN can, even though this is from their own archives. Okay? We're on it. We're already ahead of the game, baby. She's also a Scientologist? No, you're fucking kidding. No way. Pam Bondi has ties to Scientology? Shut the fuck up. No way. The Trump Foundation Pam Bondi scandal. This is from the same, I assume. Yeah, the 25 grand contribution. Pay for play. That's cool. Yeah, remember the Ryan Roos story? We are sleuths. I know. Tampa Bay Times. Pam Bondi's Clearwater fundraiser organized by Scientologists. Wait, what? Pam Bondi's special guest, the invitation says, will be U.S. Rep. David Jolly. Hosting the event at Liz and Michael Bayback, owners of a 23rd floor penthouse in swank Water's Edge condos downtown, Tower Perched. Bayback is the chief executive of Michael Bayback & Co., Clearwater-based business services consulting firm. She worked as a Qatari lobbyist. Registered foreign agent Pam Bondi says Biden is corrupt. Wait, she worked for Qatar? Maybe she's good. The fact that Hasan shits on Bondi is just more evidence that he's transphobic. Okay, that's not a funny joke. New clip just dropped. HasanAbi helping Qatar house Hamas. Bondi, I don't think it's me on secret Trump tape. President Donald Trump's controversial contribution to Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi's political committee 5 years ago has started to creep back into the Sunshine State's politics. In a September 2016 recording made surreptitiously by President Trump's former lawyer, oh my God, is it Michael Cohen? Is it Michael Cohen that caught her? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, baby, don't lie to me. If I tell you my story, don't cry. Friend of the show, Michael Cohen, does it again. In September 2016 recording made surreptitiously by President Trump's former lawyer of a conversation that may have concerned a secret payment to hush up an affair with former Playboy model. Trump is initially heard talking on the phone about an unrelated matter to someone whose name sounds like Pam. Bondi told Politico that she doesn't remember all of her calls from 2016, but she believes she is not the one talking to Trump, whose side of the phone conversation was the only one recorded when attorney Michael Cohen walked in the room. Mea culpa. If you dance with the devil, it's gonna go down. Tell the truth, it's now or never. This is my day. It's coming on down. Can you break it down for dumb nuts? This is Michael Cohen, friend of the show, host of the pod Mea Culpa. Michael Cohen is a convict. Okay, former felon Michael Cohen. Michael is Donald Trump's personal fixer, former lawyer, who went to prison for doing hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels. In the process, where the court unearthed certain recordings that Michael Cohen had on his phone, it seems like Donald Trump was having a conversation with Pam Bondi, who is Donald Trump's new pick for Attorney General, after the former Attorney General Matt Gaetz, which was his pick prior to this, had to resign in disgrace from the position because he's a pedophile, allegedly. That's right. Seems to me like Pam Bondi also did some paid-to-play schemes with Donald Trump. Sought out donations from Donald Trump and then threw aside the Donald Trump court case on Trump University from Florida. Now, I'll just say it like this. I'm sure there's more stuff to come out, because that right there is not that bad. I mean, she's going to be a demon regardless. And it's obvious that Donald Trump chose her because, you know, she's loyal. But yeah, so Matt Gaetz now has to go back to his own district and do a special election for no fucking reason.
About the question of whether he would do this, given the fact that this was very much a pick that Donald Trump wanted. And I just want to read I'll read all of Matt Gaetz's tweet where he just announced that he was withdrawing. I had excellent meetings with senators yesterday. I appreciate their thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many. While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. There is no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. And he says that he remains fully committed to helping Donald J. Trump. I mean, wow. This is really, really big news. And we knew that this was I wouldn't even say a possibility. I would say a probability, given so much quiet opposition by Republicans. The fact that there was more information coming out. Paula Reed and our colleagues went to them with that information. We were going to report it, and
he's out.
He's out.
This is going to be a huge relief to a lot of Senate Republicans who did not want to have this debate, who did not want to face the first sort of chance to show whether or not they were going to stand up to Donald Trump on something that they disagreed with or not. And it's a blow, certainly, to President-elect Trump for having seen his nominee not last, 2 weeks, But this will clear the way for the Senate Republicans to have somebody at the top who they can support.
Yeah.
Also, I would take issue with one thing he said in that tweet, which is...
Just one thing?
That
it was a scuffle?
One thing stood out to me is that he said the momentum was strong.
Oh.
I think the reporting shows very clearly that the momentum was not strong.
Or otherwise he would still be the
100%.
the nominee. Manu, I want to go to you on Capitol Hill. I know this just broke.
It's a little fucked up that HasanAbi can't respect the decision of a guy who wants to step away from work to spend more time with other people's kids. Free Nestor. Free Nestor till it's spelled backwards, okay? Free Nestor from the treacherous grips of Matt Gaetz, okay? The only time Nestor ever felt free was when Matt Gaetz was diddling other people's kids, okay? Free Nestor!
But what are you hearing so far? I'm guessing the relief that Jeff Mason was just describing?
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, there were a lot of Republican senators who were concerned about defying Donald Trump, but just really could not get themselves to supporting Matt Gaetz's nomination, not just because of the allegations in the House Ethics Committee report, some of which have been leaked to the press, but just about his style, the way he's battled with Republicans and Democrats alike. There are concerns about whether he can actually do this job. And just there's just a real belief among many Republicans that I spoke to that even if they went through this process, they'd be expending so much political capital to get him across the finish line. And that may not have been, it still might not be enough to vote yes on this confirmation that ultimately would go down. That made it so complicated to see how he could ultimately get through. It is still going to catch a lot of people by surprise because Gaetz was on Capitol Hill all day yesterday, meeting with senators, trying to urge them to keep an open mind through this confirmation process. They successfully delayed that House Ethics Committee report. It'll be an interesting decision now whether that House Ethics Committee report could still see the light of day, even though Matt Gaetz has resigned from Congress. That committee is still planning to meet in early December to decide how to proceed. And one other thing, Dana, Matt Gaetz resigned from his House seat in this Congress. He said in that letter to the House that he would not serve in the next Congress, although he was just reelected to that seat for the next Congress. Does he change his mind and decide to stay in his seat over the next 2 years? That's a question I just put out to Mr. Gaetz. We'll see how he responds to that question. But, of course, if he does, that could bring the Ethics Committee investigation back to light. So a huge development here, and no question about it, a big sigh of relief for many Republicans who did not want to vote for Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, no question. All right, let us know if you get...
She stole a dog from Katrina victims? Stop. Shut the fuck up. RNC Speaker Pam Bondi was once in a 16-month custody battle over a dog with a Hurricane Katrina victim. Oh my God. Stop. This makes no sense. Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I guess Donald Trump is doing the damn thing where, you know, at least she's not a pedophile. Like, I don't get it. Like, at least she didn't shoot the dog like Christy Nome.
Get more reaction. Manu, I want to go to West Palm Beach. Kristen Holmes is there at her post reporting on the Trump transition. Kristen, what are you hearing?
Yeah, no official word yet from President-elect Donald Trump or his team, but I can tell you, Dan, I spoke to a number of people this morning who were talking about just how far they were going to have to go to try and get Gaetz confirmed. How much political capital was Donald Trump going to use? And there was concern among those close to the former president, now president-elect, that they could not get a number of other cabinet picks through if he used all of his political capital on Matt Gaetz, which was seeming like it might be the outcome of all of this. Now, of course, there were questions as to whether or not Donald Trump would react or change the direction that he was going in once that ethics report came out, if it did, in fact, come out. But we have been told that Donald Trump was all in on Matt Gaetz, that he had said over and over again that he was going to give him his support. It was the most important pick. But for those around Donald Trump and the people who wanted to get some of these other not as controversial, but still slightly controversial picks across the finish line, they were worried about then being a larger holdup because of the fact that he was expending so much political capital on Matt Gaetz. Now, I will tell you, I did talk to a number of sources close to Gaetz after those meetings with those Republican senators who said they were cautiously optimistic about how it went. However, when you look at what some of those senators said afterwards in terms of transparency, in terms of essentially warning Gaetz that there could be more stuff, that he needed to be transparent coming forward, it was unclear if their reaction to this, again cautiously optimistic, was the same reaction that Gaetz himself or those senators were having after they actually sat down with Gaetz. But one thing that is just so interesting about all of this is the fact that Donald Trump had been hammering down behind closed doors that this was the most important pick to him, that he believed that this was something he had to stand by. He wanted Matt Gaetz to be the quote-unquote effective communicator. Now, obviously, we'll see we're back to the drawing board on Attorney General. We know that when it came to Matt Gaetz, he wasn't even on the original short list. It was decided on a plane ride from West Palm Beach or Palm Beach to D.C. and back, and that's when that announcement came. So we are going to have to play this out now. But now there are more critical positions, including Secretary of Treasury, that have yet to be filled. It is going to be clear this is going to be something they're going to turn their full attention to, because remember, Dana, overall, this is their number one thing. This is what Donald Trump believes the most important cabinet position is.
Now to the question of leadership and sexual misconduct.
It doesn't stop. It's just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Ay, 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 por Dios. Yo voy a votar por Donald Trump. Ay, 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 por Dios. Yo voy a votar por Donald Trump. It's fucking crazy. Economía por Trump. Trumpito. Okay. You can't have this many rapists, man. What the hell is going on, man? Does every cabinet appointee have to be a rapist? Oops, all rapists. What the fuck?
Allegations against two of the president-elect's cabinet picks. CBS News has learned of Venmo.
It's just like, at this point, it's like, what severity is the sexual assault crime that you have engaged with? You know what I mean? Depending on the severity is a requirement for sure. Like, they won't let you at the very least have to be like Linda McMahon, Vince McMahon's wife, who hired a pedophile, okay? Knowing that he was a pedophile, and then was like, hey, as long as you don't diddle kids any further, like, you're good. And then he still kept diddling kids. RFK Jr. sexually assaulted his babysitter. RFK Jr. was also so much of a serial adulterer that his fucking first wife committed suicide after she read his diary. Okay? It's kind of crazy. So I don't know. I mean, Pam Bondi, not looking too good, you know? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna sit back and wait till we find out more about Pam Bondi's background.
Records related to claims that Attorney General pick, that's Matt Gaetz, paid for sex. We've also now seen a police report from a sexual assault allegation against Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Scott McFarland is tracking all of this on Capitol Hill. Scott, good morning to you.
Gail, good morning. This 22-page police report provides new details about the allegations against Pete Hegseth, President-elect Trump's choice to be the next defense secretary. And it comes down as Hegseth arrives here today to meet with the Republican senators who will decide.
The fuck is this? Yes, this Pam Bondi, no relation to Joseph A. Bondi. Hashtag let Lev speak. Hashtag Lev remembers. Hashtag they all knew. What is this? I don't understand. What am I supposed to get from this? That's Lev Parnas? What? I don't know what that is, man. I'm sorry. You're in too deep. You're in too deep. You're in too deep. I don't know what the fuck that means, but I'm not. It's like when you guys send me like a deep fried meme and I need to know 8 different things before I understand what the fuck's going on. That's what it feels like. I only know Lev Parnas as a name that I have avoided like the fucking plague. I feel like is Russiagate related. I'm good.
Decide whether or not to confirm him. Overnight, a police report was released detailing a 2017 sexual assault allegation against Fox host Pete Hegseth. The accuser, referenced as Jane Doe, reported feeling like she'd been drugged and recalls saying no a lot while in a hotel room with Hegseth, where she says he prevented her from leaving and that he was on top of her. Hegseth told police he was buzzed but not intoxicated, that the encounter was consensual, and that Doe seemed regretful after sex, but he did not elaborate. Hegseth's attorney has said Hegseth was not charged with a crime. The Trump transition team continues to publicly support Hegseth as a nominee.
That's actually fucking nuts because, like, the cops literally just let him go because they're also rapists. Like, what the fuck? There's no other crime where the cops would just be like, I mean, I guess domestic abuse too. Like, there's no other circumstance where cops are just like, yeah, this is chill because we like that and we agree with what you did.
It comes as Matt Gaetz returning to be Attorney General, just as he received at least a temporary reprieve.
Yeah, there's a bunch of crimes that cops like committing and they let people go for. Hate crimes, drunk driving, as long as they know the person.
The U.S. House Ethics
January 6th, true.
Committee ended its Wednesday meeting at an impasse without releasing what they found about the former congressman in an investigation they launched back in April 2021. The Republican chair told CBS News revealing the findings publicly is inappropriate after Gaetz's abrupt resignation last week.
Can you explain why?
Because the committee no longer has jurisdiction over the issue.
Gaetz is alleged to have attended 10 to 15 sex parties and had sex with a 17-year-old minor who was interviewed by the committee. CBS News has also learned Venmo records obtained by House investigators show Gaetz paid two women up to $10,000 over 27 payments. Gaetz has denied any wrongdoing. Democrats have said senators who'll decide whether to confirm Gaetz as the next Attorney General should know what's in the report.
This individual resigned from the House of Representatives so this report would not be made public. Let's get to the bottom line here. He does not want it to be made public, and there must be something in there.
Republicans have argued the Senate's background review of Gaetz will find whatever details the senators need to know to cast their votes.
Do you think it'll all come out anyhow about Mr. Gaetz?
Yeah, it'll be a full review. Again, for all of the nominees, we're going to follow the process.
This House ethics panel deadlock might be difficult to break. There are 5 members from each party on the panel, and a majority vote is needed. Tony?
We'll keep following it. Scott, thank you very much.
Elena, you cover the Trump transition for us, so I'm just going to start here when it comes to Pete Hegseth. Once again, in light of this police report, we are hearing from the Trump team saying that he fully supports his nominee. There's no plan to even close to withdraw him. This report corroborates what Mr. Hegseth's attorneys have said all along. The incident was fully investigated and no charges were filed. Now, she says because police found the allegations to be false. I just want to underscore, we don't know that police found the allegations to be false. What we know is that he wasn't prosecuted. What happened in between the allegations and the...
By the way, the police report is out on the Pete Hegseth sexual assault claim, okay? Incident report says rape victim unconscious of the nature of the act. Rape. Like, it's not like they just straight up... I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
None of them being prosecuted, we don't know. He said just now when he talked.
Didn't this happen with half of his other nominees too, like Kavanaugh, for example? I might be misremembering, but I mean, yeah, Kavanaugh too, for sure, but not to this degree of like open and shut. Does that make sense? Like I don't think there was a police report. Key points from the police report of Hegseth's alleged sexual assault. It was first reported by a nurse, not the accuser. Accusers suggested she might have been drugged. 2 other women at the event said Hegseth placed a hand on their thighs and invited them up to his hotel room. Oh my God. An emergency room nurse contacted police in 2017 after treating a woman who said that while drinking with colleagues after a political gathering several nights earlier, she may have been drugged and was then sexually assaulted by a man she later identified as Pete Hegseth, according to records released Wednesday by the Monterey Police Department. A lawyer for Hegseth, President-elect Donald Trump's nominee to be defense secretary, has said the encounter was consensual. Authorities declined to bring charges of the case. Hegseth later paid the woman an undisclosed sum as a part of a non-disclosure agreement. Days later, the accuser told the nurse she suspected something may have been slipped into her drink that October 2017 night, according to the police report. The records do not indicate whether investigators asked her about her suspicion that she may have been drugged. Hegseth told officers that throughout the encounter, he repeatedly checked to ensure the woman was comfortable. He expressed that he did not want her to get in trouble, according to the report. Hegseth said she showed early signs of regret, the officer wrote, but did not elaborate. Police interviewed 2 other women at the conference who said that Hegseth had placed their hand on their thighs and invited them up to his hotel room. One told officers that she'd asked Doe to help ward him off, according to the report. Dude, this guy is this guy's a monster, dude. He's a fucking freak. I mean, like, Christian nationalist, straightforward predator. Hegseth wrote in a Princeton newspaper about how he didn't believe women could be raped if they were unconscious because rape requires for there to be distress and an unconscious woman doesn't experience distress. No fucking shot. What? Yeah, I mean, he's also had like multiple affairs. He literally had a wife, cheated on his wife, married the woman he cheated on his wife with, and then cheated on her with another woman that he ended up marrying as well. Yeah. He has a total of 7 children from 3 different women. Conservative values. Oh, speaking of which, Biden, the corpse, has come out. I made a statement. The ICC issuance of arrest warrants against Israeli leaders is outrageous. Let me be clear once again. Whatever the ICC might imply, there is no equivalence, none, between Israel and Hamas. Holy shit. They covered the article on the Majority Report this morning. It's true. It's more about the fact that an unconscious woman cannot be under duress. Therefore, it cannot be rape. What the fuck? Yeah, he doesn't think women should be in combat roles. He paid a woman who accused him of rape to sign an NDA. We know that already. Published a column in college that claimed that having sex with an unconscious woman is not rape. Hexit was a publisher of Princeton Tory, a right-wing student newspaper. In September 2002 edition, flagged for popular information by Will Davis of ARC Initiatives, Hexit published a column that claimed having intercourse with an unconscious woman was not rape. The columnist claimed that rape required both the failure to consent and duress, and women who were passed out could not experience duress. A bemusing yet mandatory orientation program revolved entirely around whether an instance of sexual intercourse constituted rape. The actual instance portrayed in the skit was in fact not a clear case of rape, at least not in my home state. In short, though intercourse was not consented to, there was no duress because the girl drank herself into unconsciousness. Both criteria must be satisfied for rape. Unfortunately, the panel has never cited any legal definition of rape, yet the panel, all females in the session I attended, claimed rape it was.
What the fuck?
Yeah, putting this guy in charge of the Defense Department is fucking fantastic, guys. Really good, you know? Supercharged rapes happening in the Defense Department. The American military already has a genuine, real problem. Like a real problem, serious problem with mass rapes occurring on military bases. And then some of those victims mysteriously fucking dying. So good guy to have. He didn't write the column, he published it. An introductory note, Hexit wrote that he hoped Princeton Tory would help shape the way you view the world. So he didn't write this column. I mean, it's still gross. I mean, he's a gross guy. That part doesn't change, but yeah, I mean, it would be like if you said it's not real murder if there's no pain. Hexit is a serial philanderer, making him a target for blackmail. Hexit criticized injured veterans who receive government assistance, praised waterboarding, dismissed moral concerns about the use of nuclear weapons. Okay, I know the rest of the stuff. I've already covered the rest of the shit. Yeah, he convinced Trump to pardon the fucking psychopathic war criminals, including, and remember, these guys were dudes who literally their own unit was like fucking up his scopes so that he couldn't target children anymore. Gallagher. He was convicted of war crimes for stabbing a 16-year-old ISIS detainee to death after he was zip-tied and was, I think, bleeding already from a gunshot wound, if I'm not mistaken. Hexit said the United Nations should be shut down. Hexit has a tattoo associated with white nationalists. He had Deist Vault. Is a member of a Christian supremacist church. Hexit said rising Muslim birth rates were causing a slow-motion 9/11. Promoted editorial comparing same-sex marriage to bestiality, which is, of course, commonly held position, also championed by former Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, for the record. I mean, this attitude was incredibly commonplace for those